I feel like my son's robbed of his childhood. Now he's having to be a father. He, he's a victim, and he's going to have to live with that for the rest of his life.
This mother says watching her son struggle with the reality he now faces breaks her heart.
What has this been like for your son?
It's caused him a lot of depression. He's shut down.
Disclaimer.
Welcome back to another one. This is Table Talk. And we're about to jump into a really cool topic. But before we do that, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. We got some new faces and some faces that are not so new, but might need some reintroduction anyway. So let's just jump into that. Oh, first of all, let me introduce myself. The voice that's speaking. I don't think I've had a chance to do that before. Name's Chris, but y'all already knew that. But let's go back to our guest intros. I'll start with the handsome gentleman on the right with the bucket hat. What's good, sir?
Whatever, man. Name is Nathan King LaRoche.
King LaRoche in the house. Nice. Who we got next?
We got Peter.
What up, Peter?
Peter.
Welcome to the platform, King.
Wait.
Yeah, my name is Simape Dennis. You can call me Sim.
What up, Sim? Welcome. And of course, returning favorite. This man needs no introduction. Man like Henry. What's good, bro?
Great, and yourself, bro?
Excellent. I'm good. Thanks, bro. So, gentlemen, this is Table Talk. We're going to tackle a topic that I think might be really interesting. It's a two-way topic. Obviously, we can look at it on a male perspective and a female perspective. But I just wanted to know what your thoughts are about this particular thing, right? So the name of the topic is Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, okay? Age ain't nothing but a number. So to give you guys some context, I saw a post about a lady who was 31 years old and she fell pregnant by a kid who was 13 years old, okay? I know. Sim's reaction says it all. The thing about this is that this lady wasn't arrested or she didn't really face any charges because she took a plea deal with the government. Okay. Obviously, you can see Sim's like, nah, I'm not really with that. But this brings a lot of questions to mind. And I think the first one we can look at, obviously, is the role that minors play in making decisions regarding their sexual preferences. Do you guys think it's okay for minors to make decisions regarding their sexual preferences? Sim?
I mean, everybody has to be able to make decisions
For sure.
about their sexual preferences. But when it comes to age, I think 13 is way too young.
Way too young, yeah.
It's way too young for that. For me, it's a no-no. It's a complete no-no for me. Like, you said 13 years?
Yeah, 13.
How old is it?
She was 31.
31, that's crazy, man.
Almost double the age. By the way, the age of consent in South Africa is 16. This case happened in the US where the age of consent is, surprise, surprise, 16. So yeah, what you got to say about that, Peter?
Well, I mean, in this kind of case, no child should, especially for a 13-year-old, be able to explore that side of themselves. I mean, outside of themselves. Maybe personally, we've been there. I was a 13-year-old once. Yeah, I've been there. But outside of it, I don't think it's fair for somebody to take advantage of the child, because a child, there are only certain things that they know and certain experiences that they have and a certain level of maturity that they have. So for somebody for a 31-year-old woman to actively know that this is a 13-year-old child and then do what she did, kind of speaks back on her.
Yeah.
Nathan, what if this was a situation where this child was prompted, like they were told that, look, you could get some of this, right? Mm-hmm. And then this 13-year-old child was intrigued and they were like, yeah, I'm down, would you still feel that it's right to justify the action in any case? Let's say if the child was actually willing to go buy it.
Yes, it was. Yeah. It was a situation. I wish I was there in my, if I can put it in my own terms. I don't know where the teachers were at this time.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you wish you were a 13-year-old.
I wish I was 13-year-old.
I was saying wish it was.
No, I wish I was
Oh.
in that situation as I was a
Alright.
young man. Just playing, but nah. It's just a subtle joke. But,
Yeah.
I mean, as a young man, like that 13-year-old and a 31-year-old, if we were to reverse the roles and let it be a man doing that to a young girl, that's like pedophilia at another level. But this time, I don't think that that woman would be actually called a pedophile by society. I mean, as a young man, if you were 13 and she's 31, it looks like you've won a trophy in a way. Think about it. It looks like you've won a trophy and you've managed to break your virginity with a 31-year-old who's your teacher. Yeah, you'll have high school and a lot of chicks will be looking at you. But yeah, in society, it is a no-no, definitely.
Because from what he just said, I mean, if you reverse the role, it's going to be crazy. Because I think that's something that we take for granted in terms of, you know, male, like the male children, you know, these things are not being taken seriously. Like if a kid, like a 13-year-old comes and say, I was abused by a lady, it's gonna like laugh.
Yeah.
People are gonna laugh about it because they think a lady can't abuse a guy.
Of course.
And that's how the society has made it. So there's no way we could justify having a 13-year-old kid. We should look at it the same way we'll see if it's a female, it's a girl child. We should see it the same way because, you know, stuff like that goes a long way to affect how we are as individuals, our characters. It shapes who we are because those experiences that we go through when we're young, they're very important. So if we, you know, overlook that for a male child, it's crazy. So.
Okay, no, I understand. Henry, what would you call a woman who does that, like the woman in that situation? Because, I mean, it seems as if the other gentlemen are all in agreement that, look, no matter how you paint this picture, it's a very ugly picture, right? Put yourself in the situation where you needed to judge this case. I mean, what's your thinking around that?
Since a man who does that is called a pedophile, maybe a woman should be called a medophile.
Not maybe a woman should be called a pedophile also.
Should be called a medophile or something because it's the same thing with different genders.
Yeah.
It's intolerable. That's what we can say because you're only identified as a man once you turn 18, but below that you're a boy.
In
You're a
light
boy.
of what Nathan said, right? Let's say this child, unfortunately, that happened to him, but he would be looked at differently by his peers. They might look at him with some sort of esteem, unfortunately, like, oh, wow, this dude actually did this or did that or did this or did that. Would you think it would be fair to call him a man based off that?
Nah, man. You don't earn trophies with such things. I mean, your consciousness should tell you that, you know what, this is wrong. Even though you know nothing, you know, you're immature at that point, you know, especially for a boy, because females tend to mature quicker than we do. Because a boy who's 13 is a boy who's 13. A female who's 13 is probably 18 in her mind, you know, somewhere above. That's how the scale goes. But, you know, it shouldn't be, you know, speaking for myself, you know, I will never generalize this, you know. Speaking for myself, it shouldn't be anything to cheer about. Yeah. To yourself as well, even though you've been done wrong, but yeah, we all know the pleasures of the body seem to take control and stuff. But yeah, after you ejaculate, you need to come back to your senses that, yeah, what I did was shameful. I'd hide that. If it was a part of my story, I'd bury it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think most guys have had experiences growing up with older and I think it's very common with guys, but it's not spoken about often.
Tell me
I know
about it.
a lot of my peers, including myself, when I was a kid, an experience with an older lady. So I couldn't tell anyone.
Yeah, I mean, at the
I
time,
mean,
it felt,
at the time, I felt like, what have I done? It broke me, and I didn't know about it. You know, it broke me, and it's something I do not even want to share with people. Like, I couldn't even talk about it, not until now. It's way more than the surface, way more than just ejaculating and having fun, because you get, it's those kind of things that shape our lives, like in the future. So they ought to be taken so seriously.
okay.
It's so many guys, so many. I could count how many people I know.
No, but like if you were to look at it where when you base it on the terms of society, it also goes in the way of young girls. If they date men that are probably older than them, in society they get to, like they looked at as like elderly women, like they now come of age, especially with the way they carry themselves. If a 13-year-old is dating an 18 or 19-year-old, she won't want to be like maybe called out as a 13-year-old because of the person that she's messing with, and also her own, the way she carries herself and behavior. It is of like a person who's very much old.
Yeah.
But then with the young man, obvious. I mean, it does also play in the same factor, because like as I said, it seems like a trophy. Because I was 13 also, so we would, like, there were situations where we crushed on older women, all of us, of course. And if we were to get with any one of them, we will be looked like as champions in our peers, wherever we go, as long as I've conquered that mountain.
True. Yeah.
No, I mean that's actually a very good point, because it's looked at in different lenses depending on who is the victim and whatever it is, right? You just made an excellent point that if it were a woman that was in that situation, although it's still a terrible thing, she would perceive it as something differently. And so would a man in the same situation. They'd also perceive it as something differently. But my next question is about, obviously, choices, right? We did speak, and I think the point came across that at that age, at 13, no one's really in a position to make choices on sexual preferences and all that stuff. But do you guys know that, well, according to some studies, children can choose their gender definitions from ages 2 to 4, right? That's what the research suggests, right? So now my question is, would you have the same view for minors choosing their sexual orientation and gender identity? Because we've almost unanimously said sexual preference, no. But for minors, we're not talking like very young children. Let's say a 13-year-old. Would it be cool for them to identify or to claim a gender that was not assigned to them? For example, if a child is given, well, if you give birth to a male child and it has male genitalia, the assigned gender is male, right? But as they grow up, they can choose to be something else. So my question is, at 13, do you think it's okay for a child to choose their own gender identity? Peter, you haven't really had a chance to talk too much. What are you saying about this, bro?
With that regard, and in that sense, I don't know how to really feel about it, to be quite honest. Because I think that every child is taught different things. Every child is taught what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and all that stuff. So the question, how I'm thinking about it, it really depends on how that child has grown up. What are the things that were exposed to the child? What are the things that the child took in order for them to make that kind of decision? So in that regard, then, if the child was exposed to things or information where, okay, you can be this, you can define yourself in many ways, then the child will have to start thinking and developing his thoughts, because at the end of the day, they're children and their thoughts are developing. They're not yet developed.
Right,
so it's
right.
very important for parents to really not necessarily create this bubble around the child, but create a space, a safe space enough for them to develop their thoughts, so that they are, the decisions that they make and the choices that they make are clear and something that they won't regret later, or something that won't have backlash
Exactly.
in their lives later.
No, that's a powerful answer. Especially, I like the part about where a bubble should not be put around children in their development, right? The same article, actually, Peter's point was a great one. They said the environment largely influences how one would identify, of course, right? So children, if, for example, are exposed to action hero toys and soldier toys, etc., 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 then they tend to be identified as male, right? And the opposite can be said. Exposed to Barbie dolls, makeup, etc., at a young age, then they would most likely identify as female. But what are your feelings, gentlemen, on creating environments where, if, for example, you were a parent, right? I mean, we're talking about minors here, but we must understand that at some point they are children, right? First and foremost. What are your feelings around creating spaces where thoughts and ideas are nurtured about identity? Henry?
Yeah, I mean, there's just something about the age 18. I don't know. Maybe 16 is quite close, but 18 is just, I can say, perfection for most. You know, it's the age that's common for most of us when we decide that, you know what, now I know enough. I can now make my own decisions. You know, especially for boy, you know that we men, or let's say from a 13-year-old experience, we boys mature slower than girls. So just as I said, a girl can be 13, but she's thinking like an 18-year-old. Yeah, you know. So, you know, I wouldn't really stand with that. You know, in a binary manner.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stand with that, bro. You know, choices should be made until a certain stage.
Yeah.
For a boy or a girl. Yeah, in general.
Yeah, because I think this, because of the age and time that we are now, this question is a very delicate one, you know, because like Peter was saying, the foundation that you have as a child is going to play a very important role to decisions that you make. But a 13-year-old is too young to make certain decisions, because that age is a very delicate age for children, because that's when you start to explore things, you start to feel certain things that you haven't felt before, some things that are new to you, and then sometimes you would probably be overwhelmed by these feelings and you won't even know how to act on the feelings. So that's where you need as much guidance as possible for you to be able to make the right choices as an individual. So 18 is cool, because at 18 you probably might have learned a whole lot, you know, growing up from when you were 13, those feelings you're having as an adolescent, your puberty stage, you would have conquered, you know, that stage, and, you know, be solid enough to make certain decisions for yourself, and you cannot decide, okay, this is what I want to be. I want to be a cat. I want to be a fish.
An attack helicopter.
Yeah.
Nah, but like, guys, I mean, 18 is probably just a number. Let's be honest. There's a lot of us who probably haven't went through a lot of life experiences by 18. We'll only experience them as we go on. Because you'll find that probably in your 20s, you're still crashing and burning every time, and you still have to recover. So I wouldn't say 18 or just put an age to it, but maturity is what matters the most. Because like if you were to build probably a foundation for your own kid to actually be able to identify which gender or whatever they'll want to go through, it is always good to always have that healthy relationship probably with the mother, with the family, so that they can actually see practical evidence to actually how it is to be like a woman or a man, so that they can learn. Probably if you have a son, obviously he is more inclined to learn from the father of how to carry himself as he moves forward. So 18, man, let's just not put a number, but maturity counts.
Maturity counts.
Yeah, plus if you were to speak in natural science context, you can tell that this boy's 13. He's even new to the seminal world. Like he knows nothing of semen. Because at the age of 13, you can't tell me it's being taught already in school.
Nah.
It's being taught from grade
8.
4.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
In the
now
current
that's crazy.
curriculum, that's what I understand at least from grade
Yeah,
4.
okay,
So,
yeah, that tells you how the world is going now, because we've all been in grade 4 and we never learned that.
Yeah.
we
But
never-
For us, it started in grade 10, if I'm not wrong.
okay,
Seminal stuff.
Peter, you're the point.
Well, I mean, I learned about puberty in grade 5.
Yeah, primary school. Yeah.
Primary school. I learned about puberty. There was, I mean, surrounded by teachers who, I don't know, especially during my time, it was the time of corporal punishment. Was a kind of a thing of, okay, this is the textbook, this is what it says. Not very much taught. Yeah, not very much taught on, okay, when a boy reaches this age, they have sperm, and the sperm, if it reacts with the egg, you can get pregnant and all that stuff. It wasn't necessarily taught like that. It was most necessarily like, there's the picture, there's the information, read it, see it, fine. So in regards to what Brother Nathan said in terms of like the age not necessarily being a definition of maturity, which also it does hold true, because there are kids out there that think or have a level of knowledge exposure than an average 25-year-old. You see, and in those types of cases, it's very important that their foundation is safe, so that they make really correct decisions. Because that 13-year-old could have made the decision and said, no, I don't wanna do this. I don't identify with this. My parents did not teach me that this is correct, this is right. So in those types of cases where kids are just left, like me, primary school, we just left with dangling information instead of actually putting a hand to it.
Concrete info.
Yes, concrete
Yeah,
info.
because
Yeah.
like he said, information that you get from school when it comes to this topic is gonna be so sketchy. And most of us, we learned that outside of school.
Yeah.
We learned that the wrong way, like the bad way. You get so not what we were being taught. Like me, my primary school, I wasn't even taught all this in primary school, because my primary school was in Nigeria. So you get to learn these things when you were like in high school. Like you're in like maybe senior high or something. That's when we learned that in biology. You learned that, okay, this is reproduction. This is how the male and the female come together to have a child. And you just learn, we just read those stuff to pass. But the action was learned outside of school. And I don't know if there's gonna be like another way, or rather, I feel like those things should be taught from home. Like from home, because that's where I think, that's the place I think you can instill these things in children. Like learning from home, from where you're from, like everybody around you, your parents and stuff like that. Because school is gonna mix up the information for you. You're gonna learn the one from school, the one from your friends, and then everything just mixed up. And then those decision making at that time is crucial. And I don't think it's the right time to make such decisions.
And then what happens if, when at home, there's not that information given to the people who we are supposed to have that information from?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, so like, what if your parents are not giving you that information, right? Because I'd like to weigh in on this point. Being raised in a black household, it was not a topic that was discussed, right? It was very much, it was an awkward topic. You'd watch a movie and something's about to go down. You like look at your phone or pretend that you're asleep or something. So the question you posed, Peter, thank you very much, is actually a really good one. Now, what happens if that's the case where we are uncomfortable and we are not actually educating our kids about things like that, especially kids that are at that age, like early pre-teens and all that stuff? What do you say about that, Henry?
I have two sides to look at this.
For sure.
There's a positive and negative side of
course.
That whole parents not discussing with kids about this whole copulation topic. For me, it's positive because, hey, look at us. What if we were exposed to You know, they told us about it since we were young. You know, not to be tribalist or anything, but one thing I've noticed about Zulu men is that they get exposed to these sexual topics from a very young age, from their own parents. And look at most of them, they're very sexually active. And of course, you can have a good pull-out game, but yeah, you are bound to make a mistake somewhere, somehow.
It can't be perfect, man.
Yeah, of course.
Be 100.
Of course. Yeah, so, you know, for me, it's positive because, you know what, a man is a risk taker. So if my parents, in fact, my parents don't need to tell me about it. I'll go learn from it outside. Of course, I'm straight, bro. So yeah, I know that I like this, I like that. You know, I'll have to develop my own game, how to approach a woman. That my parents don't need to teach me. So yeah, we don't know how far the intimacy will go, but I'm a risk taker. So I'll learn how to do the job from outside on my own.
You see,
as a man, I'm a risk taker.
That's
you know, if the relationship between me and my parents is okay, if I make a mistake, I said this in the last episode that my teacher once told me, this is a mistake, go and make it, but don't repeat it. We can't run away from mistakes, we're human. I'll go, I make that mistake, I come back, I don't need to hide if the relationship is okay between us. I'll tell you all I made this mistake, this and that. And as a man, mature man, what do? Don't repeat it. You already know how the game works. Yeah, you did your job. Now, it's negative because, yeah, I said this again in the last video, that, you know, most of us, I'm not going to include myself in that because, yeah, I'm not like that. You know, most of our uncles, let me say, because I have a lot of uncles who are like that.
Uncles. Yeah, that's
you know, they can't approach a woman. They can't, like straight up.
What do you think that is?
I think here they call it kwababa.
So they have kwababs, basically.
What I would say is lack of knowledge.
All right.
Lack of knowledge. You don't know what a woman wants. You know, it's lack of information from home might be negative, but you know, we always need to give our parents the credit, especially if you turned out like a fine man as I am. I've never committed such a mistake. You know, I give them the credit. They never spoke to me about that stuff. So yeah, their tactic worked.
You know, I mean, there's always an exception to every case. That's why you're different.
Henry's the exception.
Yeah, you're probably the exception because I think you need to talk about these things. I solely think parents need to talk about these things with their kids because, you know, if you create a relationship with your child isn't going to be scared to do stuff because it's not okay. It's not about them not doing these things. It's about them doing these things and then you know about it. I mean, I wouldn't scold my child over everything. I would want my child to always, you know, confide in me, to talk to me about stuff, no matter how hard it is. But when you create an atmosphere where a child can't even approach you to let you know, Dad, this is where I was feeling, this is how I'm feeling about this thing, what do you think I should do? I think if you have that relationship with your child, that thing can be positive, talking about these things. Because I never talked about sex with my parents, never, ever. But I wish I did. I wish I did at the age that you know, at a very, very young age, maybe from that 13 years. I wish I did, but I didn't. And I think it would have affected me positively and not negatively. Because, you know, a child, like you said, is not about, you must make mistakes. You would make mistakes as a human. Whether you're an adult or a child, you make mistakes. But when you know your mistake, you understand your mistake and you learn from it, that's what makes you, you know, that's what makes you a man, you get. So I think those things should be talked about, regardless of how awkward it may be. Because even about it being awkward is when you don't talk about it. But if you start talking about these things from day one,
it becomes less awkward.
Yeah, it becomes like a norm. Like, you can just tell your dad, man, there's this girl in my class that I like. I wouldn't tell my kid, what the hell are you liking a girl in school? You're supposed to be no, because whether you like it or not, your child is gonna like that girl.
Yeah.
He's gonna keep liking that girl. If you beat that child, you go back to school and then sneak to like the girl. So you just let that child do those things so you can see their mistakes and know where to correct them. So that's what I feel.
But now here's the problem. In a black community, a black household, the reason why they never taught us the birds and the bees talk from a young age was because they probably feared that you would actually go out and try it out.
Yeah.
At a young age, because we are eager to actually try things. We, as a young man, you want to know, hey, I saw about this thing, let me go and do it. But now, if they're preventing it, which is good, you end up going outside and actually exploring it. That means you value outside much more than your household. Your household is trying to teach you that no, the time will come, not now. The time will come where I'll tell you, hey, this is what 1, 2, and 3 does, But you choose to actually go out and say, nah, I'm gonna leave whatever my father or mother is telling me, and I'm gonna experience it by myself.
Well, do you know that most of our parents know nothing about parenting? Most of our parents they don't know shit about parenting. They think,
No,
they think they do, but they don't. So if you know what you're doing as a parent, you can be able to guide your child.
I don't know how you actually guide one when you talk about the birds and the bees. I would understand maybe about gender and all of that, but when it comes to sexual intercourse and all of that, as I said, man, we're very eager at that age to actually explore what this means. I mean, we all know this. If as you said, like if a television show comes on and funny things start showing up, you would face the other side or be busy with something else and all of that. But when did you start actually watching that program with your parents?
Okay.
And not flinching and all of that. Like watch when a sex scene.
Even as an adult, when those things come up with my parents, I'll be like,
bro. Till date,
till now. I'm not comfortable watching sex scenes with my father.
Yeah, but now he knows. He looks at you and be like,
he knows. He probably knows, but
you know what I mean? He knows.
But because of, do you think if those things that you didn't hear at 13 years old, do you think because you didn't hear them now, you will not know the effect of those things.
Okay.
There are people I actually know who, they started, getting these talks. There's nothing you can tell them about sex. They know what to do. They know how to do it. They know when to do it. You get so.
No, that's dangerous. Think about it.
No, it's not. It's not because whether you like it or not, your child is going to be in danger when it comes to sex. Because if you're not there, the child is going to try out stuff with whether or not you talk to the child about it. So why not just try?
A man is a risk taker, bro. You should never fear for a man. That's the thing. Fear for the outcome, maybe, but not the man.
I wouldn't mind teaching my son how to actually court, like how to ask out the girl.
And you think your child
it's gonna be weird.
And you know your child is going to really say, okay, that taught me how
it's gonna be weird.
I see this girl, I'm going to start cutting.
It won't be weird. But when it comes to the sex talk, come on, dog. It will be definitely weird.
It will.
Even after that, I can't watch those programs with my mother just because she told me.
You know why it would be weird? Because you're thinking about it now. If it was then, you get the talk once, twice, and not just a talk, not the kind of talk like sit down here, I want to tell you something. You see, you have a penis. Your penis shouldn't go into a vagina. If it does, you're going to have a child, so you shouldn't. Not that kind of talk. You should be able to talk to your child, to be comfortable enough to express how they feel at every point in time. So if my child is having attractions to a girl, he will talk to me because he will know that, okay, before you have anything to do with a girl, first there should be consent. So you should be able to talk to this girl. You should be able to let this girl know I like you. So my child is supposed to know that there are stages to these things. Like you have to, get a girl. If you like a girl, you have to talk to the girl. Find out if the girl feels the same way about you. And if you do, and then you guys can be, a thing. When it comes to the sex, and then you tell the child, okay, see, when you are involved with a girl, these are the possible feelings you get. You probably want to do these things. It's normal. You let the child know that these things are normal. Like if you feel horny, it's normal. You want to have, because at 13, whether you like it or not, your child is horny, probably watching porn at that age, and jerking off on his own because you didn't teach him that.
So you see,
Actually, that's a great point.
Yeah. So you tell the child these things will happen. You being involved with the girl, these are the kind of things that you will experience. So this is what happens when you do this.
Okay.
I'm not saying don't do this. This is what happens when you do this. So give them a choice. Like you said, they should be able to make choices, but they should be guided in making those choices.
No, that's
At
great.
least you know that you played your part as a father. I'm teaching my child this not out of fear, but out of that's comfort, that's that's freedom to be able to share with me. So I think whether you like it or not,
I think that's parenting, bro.
that's parenting, man.
Yeah.
Because if you do this parenting, I know we're all talking about African parents.
Yeah.
Our parents suck at it.
Yeah.
But that's why we're the next generation.
No,
of
but
parents.
that's a great point you made there. And if anything, right, this brings up the question of maturity, because I think Henry said it twice already, right? The conception that women tend to mature better or faster than men, right? And with Dennis's point, I just kept picking up gems of when would it be appropriate to talk to the child? Is it a question of maturity then, right? So with maturity, right, do you guys believe that maturity is an indicator of age? Sorry. Do you think that age is a good indicator of maturity and experience? I think you all answered that question already, with Nathan. But then with the age thing, right, we can't ignore the age gap between the woman and this child. 13 and 31 is major. She's double his age and then some. Okay. Peter, do you think there should be a limit to the age gap in romantic relationships?
This. It works in so many ways.
All right. No, let's hear how you would say it.
So, my dad is 54.
All right.
My mom is 42.
Okay.
So literally, my dad got married to my mom when he was 30 something. My mom was 18 years old. So in those types of relationships, I guess that's acceptable. You know, when a male is older than the woman, that is societal norms. Like, it's okay, it's cool. It's then double standards when it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in this case, specifically this case where the woman is 31 and the child is 13, I wouldn't necessarily compare it to the example I just made earlier, which was in regards to marriage. This one was straight out sexual assault. So in that regard.
Okay. So there's an 18-year age gap that you rightly pointed out. Let's bump up this kid's age to 18, and then that makes the woman 36. Would you feel the same way about that then, guys?
Okay, for me, age is nothing but a number except when it's illegal. Yeah. So you could be 19 and be with a 90-year-old woman. I don't
Beautifully
care.
said.
I don't care because
You're a legal man at 19,
you're a
right?
legal man.
Bingo.
But that now has nothing to do with whether you're mature or not. That is on you.
Straight up.
But I wouldn't be calling the cops. Because
I wouldn't call the cops.
I wouldn't call the cops. But whether or not you're mature, that's on you. But if it's legal, it's cool. But if it's not, then it's not cool.
Okay.
That's
What if, because Peter made a great point, there is the obvious double standard that exists, right? Of it is acceptable for a man to be much older than their partner, if that partner is a woman, but the same thing can't be really said if it's the other way around, right? Henry, do you think in that case, right, in the case where now you're a young man and the person you're involved with is about 18 years older than you. You're legal, by the way. Thank you, Dennis. Would you say there's something wrong with that kind of dynamic, that relationship setup?
Yeah.
Why
For
so?
me, yeah. Because, okay, maybe I've never read my Bible in like fully, but I never heard of anyone in the Bible whose wife was older than him. It's always the other way around, bro. You'll have Abraham who's 190 something, 100 and something years, and Sarah is always 90.
Yeah, she was always on the 90.
Yeah, it's always. I mean, you know, when a man is older than the woman, that's normal. Let's be honest. I'm not trying to be here, like masculine or anything. Nah, that's normal. But you know one thing about a woman when she's older than her man?
What up?
There's always someone who has something negative to say about that.
Yep.
Especially if you're a great man. Look at Emmanuel Macron.
Classic example.
Classic.
Hey,
Look at him. Imagine being the father of your house and the last born.
hectic.
So, you know, there's always something wrong when it's other way.
But I think it's a stereotype that needs to be broken.
You
man.
think it's a
Because
stereotype?
I myself, I've dated someone older than me, a girl.
Do you mind telling us what the age gap
Like
was?
4 years older than me.
Okay.
But it was-
Bro, 4 years. 4 years.
And here goes the double standard again.
It's fine. Yeah, I can actually give you a handshake, bro. I mean, then you did your job, bro. No. But you know, once you get up to 10, 15, that's your aunt already.
Yeah.
Because you can think of her as, let's put this in the context of your mom. My mom gave birth to me at the age of 22. So it means if she had a younger sibling, that sibling could have been 15, something there. That's my aunt. So she's older than me by 15 years, somewhere there.
Yeah.
So that means already from 15, I can't. Anyone above 15, hey,
That's your.
that's my aunt. That's my aunt, bro.
Nathan, do you feel the same way? What if let's throw a span in the works, Nathan? What if you genuinely cared for this person? Like let's say it's a serious relationship.
You're wicked.
Let's say it's a serious relationship and it's not a casual relationship. Would you be okay with dating an older woman?
Oh, now I have to think of the experience.
I'm sure you got one or two. I mean,
Nah.
okay, dead.
No, but
Dope.
yeah, like if it's genuine love, I mean, it is cool. But then the age gap, not the age gap, but the age of both parties.
Yes, of course,
If it's
yeah.
18, 19, if it's below like 22 or so, I mean, that's not rightfully right in a way. I feel like you have to be about 25 as a man, then you can probably date a 40-year-old or 35. Wouldn't be a problem at all.
That's 15 years, bro.
I wouldn't mind. So, if I'm my age and she's 42, I'm getting down with that.
Alright.
But now I have to think about the fact that in 5 years' time, she'll look wrinkled now.
Yeah.
She'll look old. That's the reason why us men like marry very young women. Probably 5-10 years difference because they mature faster, as you said. Like they mature faster. Like the body starts showing that this person is very old.
So that means you're dating the body now.
Yeah,
Because I mean, we're talking about love here. I mean, you're
my love
loving
is
someone, you should look
conditioning.
past this.
Hey, yo,
My love is
let's be honest here, bro. You know, the body plays a big role.
you go.
Because when you see the person, you don't see the heart, you don't see the brain, you see
the age
the body.
But then you're gonna be that person too with that kind of body too, not upright, and you're
Hey,
gonna
bro,
be
I'm
wrinkled.
still fresh. I've got my body, my waist still works now. Then, you know, I must just go out there and, you know, I must just go out there and make on my dear. Bro, come on, bro. Come on.
Peter, you look like you're at a point to say when Nathan was mentioning when Nathan was saying what he was saying.
No, not really. But then I'll just like to jump in the point
Alright.
of like aesthetic wise.
Yeah.
You know, like we are very much inclined to. A lot of men are very much inclined to. Okay, how is it gonna look outside if I'm with this girl? You know, and I mean honestly, sure.
You're down for that.
So if that's what really truly is what you want as a man, then sure, that's go for it. Go for it.
But I just have a question.
Yeah.
We do know that the right way of doing things in our African way back then was always an older man going to another family to find a daughter. So the age was always bigger back then for men to women. I've never heard of, my grandfather was 18, my grandmother was 40. There was never such.
But I think it's a thing of a man being, you know, if you're capable of taking care of a woman, it doesn't necessarily mean that you must be older or because men naturally, like you said, from way back, we're born to like protect our women, you know, take care of your woman. You know, if you can do that, I don't think age is a thing, you know. I don't think age matters when it comes to being a man.
The only older woman I'll take care of is my mother, bro. Because those other women are also my mothers age-wise.
Yo,
but
15.
hey,
Can't forget that.
hey, yo.
Nah, okay, but gents, well,
Let
it
me not
seems
look
as
like
if,
a saint. Nah, I get tempted also.
You see, this, you know, this, you know.
nah,
We
so
all know the word MILF. So.
yes, actually, the word milk, because now
Yeah.
it seems like 15 is the golden number. We're going to stick on 15, right? Would you say that a 15-year age gap is enough for somebody to be labeled a sugar baby? So if you were with a, for lack of a better word, MILF, right? So you're like 22, Johan is 37. That's a whole 15 years there. In that situation, would you consider yourself a sugar baby?
Absolutely.
What if you could provide for her, Dennis, like you said, right?
Then you're no longer the sugar.
Then you're no longer a sugar baby. So what actually, if you break down the whole thing of being a sugar baby, what does it boil down to? What would you say?
For me, you're an active sugar baby, bro. Yeah. Because you know, we have two different types of sugar babies. We have the ones who just sit there and wait for Mamzo to provide.
Yeah.
When we have to Dala, she's gonna pay.
She's good, yeah.
Obviously, you can't think of paying to go and kill someone's mother.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. that's twice a crime, bro. That's twice a crime, dude. I mean, yeah. So if you pay for everything of hers, yeah, you're still a sugar baby, but an active one.
Okay.
You probably don't know what's going with you, bro.
Well,
Peter, what do you think? Would you consider yourself a sugar baby if the age gap between you and your aunt was 15 years?
Yes. I mean, fair enough. At the end of the day, it is going to look, the dynamic is going to look very off. So, but there are really like people who are out there with dynamics where the man looks like the provider, or the man looks older than the female, but most cases it's not the case.
Yeah.
The
The
female
female is the
always
provider.
looks older than the gent. So then in that case, it will always be regarded like that in the society. But can I change my answer?
Yeah, change it. No, you wouldn't think of yourself as a sugar baby.
No, I wouldn't.
I
I think I'm in a healthy relationship.
You think it's a healthy relationship?
Yes.
King LaRoche, what are we saying, bro?
100% sugar baby. At 15 years difference,
Yeah.
and you still provide.
Yeah, no, you can provide. Like there's means, but then the age gap is there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean the reason why there is a term called sugar
Sugar,
baby is
yeah.
because of money.
because
Straight
of money,
up.
because
You know
that's
what I
sugar.
mean?
Yeah. That's the sugar.
Yeah, that's the
So,
sugar you
that's
get.
the only difference. Just because of money, the resource alone.
Alright,
And it's only found. That term is only only found in women alone. That actually date older men. That's how it probably originated, I would say.
sugar
so
babies,
it always comes down to money. That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay, can I say one thing about these whole sugar relationships? You know, as a man, when you go into one, do you have that thought or that consent that I want to take care of this lady? You
As a
understand?
sugar baby, no way.
Exactly, you are a baby. So when you go in
It
there,
depends on how
You
you're
ex-
entering the
Yeah.
relationship. If you're entering,
Okay.
if you're the one
Who did the
okay,
talk?
now you're the one who was approaching this older lady. You have the means. You're okay. You don't need money. Would you call yourself? You like this? Okay, let
You
me use
like
the word
older women.
MILF.
You like
okay.
milfs,
Let me use the
yeah.
word MILF, so because it sounds attractive. You understand? Okay, you see this MILF and you like her. 15 years older. You have the means. You don't need her money. Would you call yourself a sugar boy?
You're attracted to milfs,
You're
Henry.
when you put it like that, now you have to think.
Yeah.
Because in this case, I will think as much as I can to disagree because, bro, I don't care how rich the nigga is, he's a baby there, bro. Because, tell me, let's say experience, 15 years gap.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm the one who's 15. the lady's 30.
Yeah,
Bro, I can't be a millionaire by then.
that's a crime.
No, we're not saying you're 15. We're saying you could be 25.
Yeah, no,
I 15-year gap.
Yeah, I just went back.
You shouldn't go back because that's illegal right now. We're not talking about that.
Okay, let's start from 18 then.
18.
Okay,
you have
from
nothing.
18.
Why would you at 18 years be
Yeah.
going for a MILF?
Still,
A MILF will go for you at 18 because you have nothing to chase after.
No. The thing is, at 18, we tend to already have game.
Yeah.
So I know already that, I can raise this hand.
Okay.
So, one thing about we men is that we explore.
Yeah, we do.
If I conquer level 1, what's next?
There were 2.
Okay, I conquered
And so
an
on.
18-year girl. Sure, I'm going for 19.
Okay.
I'm going until you get to
30.
Sure. You understand? It's a step-by-step thing. Yeah. So some niggas, just like the example you've been giving here, it sounds like that nigga's too fast. I don't think that nigga went for his age mates or below. He knew that, I want the older one. So he went straight to 30.
Yeah.
So, bro, come on.
See the sugar boy.
Yeah. To me, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it sugar? Is it? Wait.
What is this sugar?
Yeah.
Because I want us to define this sugar because
Hey, bro, the sugar is money and just the image. Because it's going to be a sweet relationship,
Maybe
bro.
sugar means something
Yeah,
different to
there
different
we
people.
go. There's
right?
the perfect term I
It
can
means
give.
something different to different people.
Do you think you can fight with her?
Do I think I can
Like,
fight with her?
having like a strong argument with sugar mama.
It's risky to do that,
It's
bro. I
risky,
might
man.
not get the sugar
So it's
anymore.
a sweet relationship, you understand? You're always gonna try and keep it sweet because of the fact that, you know what, it's either she's providing for me or she's my aunt,
sweet.
bro. She's my aunt.
that's-
I can't disrespect her
that's
like
why
that.
we're talking about now. You don't need her money. She's not providing for you. So
Yeah.
what is this sugar you're getting as a sugar boy?
Well,
There's
let me
only
put
one
this in-
possible.
Because that sugar, I can get it from a younger girl.
There we go.
Oh, that sugar
That
is not the
shouldn't-
same, my man.
Ah, it's not the same.
Sugar is not the
That's
same.
not the same.
You get different sugar when it's up there.
Okay, you get white sugar and brown sugar.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
that's
fine.
different sugar.
That sugar is molasses, bro.
Okay, no, I think
I
the sugar
said
we're
that.
talking about here is the relationship. Because,
Yeah.
bro, you're not gonna date an old woman and treat her like she's your mate. Nah, she's not your mate. Of course, you're in a
So
relationship
you're
with
going
her.
to treat her, you're going to say, hello, ma'am.
Hello, auntie.
Hello, auntie. Just how is that, bro?
Nah, you're gonna treat her as your partner,
Yeah.
who's not on the
That's
same
equal.
level as you.
No. Whether or not she's 50, she's my partner, and we should relate as partners.
Hey, that partner could have, let's say, in mistake, like in a mistake scenario, she could have been involved with your dad.
Yeah.
So you understand
my
that?
stepmom.
You see,
But then,
you see.
you don't see you don't
So,
get to be in the other room with your
Trust me,
stepmom,
you
so-
can be a man, but the way your father has been, that's not your ground, man.
I mean, isn't my father supposed to be?
He is.
No, you paved the way.
But it's
for me.
forbidden land. It's forbidden land. When my father has passed, I can't, man.
No, my father passed it, so it will be easy for me.
Okay, let's put this as in you, my dad.
Okay.
You killed this lady. You knocked her down. I knocked her down too. I must come to you, dad. I knocked her down. Nah, bro. Nah. You know,
See that relationship, the father and son relationship, those are just silly boys.
You
bro.
understand, G? You understand?
You can't-
Passport, bro.
Nah, G,
You
nah.
can't step on where your father was.
Thank you, man. My father's land is my father's land.
Your
As a
father's
man, I
land.
must go look for my own land.
Okay, technically,
Yeah.
this land actually doesn't belong to my father.
To
But
anyone.
it could be the type that my father could acquire. But this particular one, though, is not my father's land.
Okay.
Oh man.
Let's say I'm the sugar mama here. Now let's paint a scenario.
I'm claiming residence in Bermuda.
You knocked me down. You know, there's always that time of, after you finish your deeds, you now sit down to talk. You know, there was once a man in my life. I'm the sugar mama, eh? There was a man in my life called, let's say, Julian or some Okori.
Okay.
Boom, that's your dad's name. Yo. I was like, wow. Okay. So how would you feel now?
Well, it's my dad.
Okay, so aren't you gonna feel some guilt that, damn, bro, I just knocked the same woman as my dad?
Personally, no.
Okay, you're a big dog.
Personally, no.
No, it's fine. You know, we can agree to disagree.
Can agree to disagree. No,
Plus,
but
I'm
gentlemen,
human. I don't know. I get tempted. I said that as well. I get tempted.
Now,
so, yeah.
gents, thank you so much for the fire convo. If we can take anything away from this conversation is absolutely there is freedom, but I think Mr. Sim here said it right. It needs to be within the legal bounds, right? I think that's something we can all agree upon. So the 1331 thing, we ain't really with that. 1530, we ain't really with that. As soon as it's like 19 and like 42, all right, cool. That's not really too much of a problem, right?
Yeah.
One last point, Mr. Henry.
Just one last point. This was about the beginning as we started the thingy. When I said that 18 should be the starting point and stuff, but they disagreed. But I heard something they both said, which led me back to that point. As Nathan said, the whole sex talk, you don't need to rush with it, but there's a time.
Yeah.
Time will come. So when you say time, of course, age is associated.
Age is linked to time.
No,
And when-
maturity, as I said in the beginning.
Yeah.
So even if
Age,
you're 18, your parents will look at you and be like,
Yeah, so age is associated. It might not be 18.
yeah, that's why I
So
say the time won't
what
come.
we can say is everyone has their own time.
You know, even in
Yeah,
the
of course.
animal
Yeah.
world, there's an age for every animal. So
Yeah.
when you get to, you become sexually active, you know. But for humans, it's relative because, as you said, you can be 18 and not mature. But in the legal, you know, speaking legally, it's totally doable. Like if you're 18, like I said, I don't care whether you think like a 15-year-old if you're 18 years, but when you're 18, you can date whoever you want to date from whatever age range.
Yeah.
It doesn't, for me, I don't care. But that age is like what's generally acceptable by everybody, that okay, this is the type of age that you could be allowed to do certain things.
No, but don't you think that's because of what government has said?
According to studies.
Government says 18, but if they were to say 16, we'll still run at 16.
We
We'll
could have
run
ran
with
with
16, but it's gonna take
No,
a
but
whole lot of
that age was not just brought up. I think it's according to studies.
according to
Yeah.
studies.
Because, like,
They've
even if
made
you look at it
research
this way,
over time to
Yeah.
say
With
okay,
Hebrew
18 is
people.
cool.
With
Yeah.
Hebrew people, at 14 or 13, you become a man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's up to what your government says. If government says 18, you'll run with 18.
In my culture, I became a man right from that same age too, because
18.
way before 18, they'll tell you you're a man, you do some traditional stuff,
Yeah.
some age, like this thing
Coming
called
of age
group,
thing.
coming
Yeah.
of age. You're a man, but that doesn't mean you're a man. Okay, now I can go start my family.
No, but what if the woman also said that no, in other cultures, when you turn 13 or 14, you're a man?
Then
could
And
have
she
been.
justifies this act and saying this boy was a man.
Was
you
the
ask yourself, is it my
boys'
culture?
racism?
No,
I
like,
think,
it's-
check I'm
it's
saying
up to
race
her.
specified.
Nah, not really. The boy's race wasn't really specified. Nah, I
Okay.
think it was more like a age thing. Culture, probably we could say, because just in wrapping up, 18 actually is a significant age because up to 85% of countries in the world cite 18 as the age for consent.
Yeah, according
In
to
Africa,
studies.
almost all, except a few, Angola, South Africa, and a few others is 16, but almost everywhere else it's 18. But yeah, guys, we obviously have a lot of points to agree on, a lot of points to disagree on, but altogether, thanks for the really, really great talk. And yeah, we hope to see you guys back on another one. And of course, Mr. Henry, you know what to tell the subscribers or the potential subscribers.
Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy African Trebo. Follow me on IG. And we're about to launch a brand new page, especially for Table Talk. So we'd love for you guys to follow that on Instagram as well. Plus, of course, where you're watching us from. Like and subscribe and press the notification button on Look M.
Yep.
Drop your comments, man. If you had laughter, do so. Thank you so much.
Thank you, gents.